Hey, what's up everybody? My name's Ty Hess. Today we're gonna be throwing together an awesome recipe with some braised pork ribs, a little bit of kale, apple, potato. It's a really great dish for the springtime. So let's get started. So today we're gonna use some bone-in pork ribs here. They're really nice, got a little bit of fat cap on here. You can totally use boneless as well. It's just gonna alter your cook time just a little bit. But first things first is we're gonna just trim a little bit of that fat cap. And a lot of times you're not gonna actually have this fat cap, but it helps to pull that off just so it can render out as much as possible. I'm just gonna pull a little bit off and then we're gonna get it seasoned up, ready for the grill. Once you've got your ribs trimmed up, you got that fat cap removed, we're gonna get these bad boys seasoned up heavily with some salt. They're gonna absorb a lot of that salt flavor, release a little bit of that moisture out of the rib itself, and we'll get them ready for the grill. Nice even coating, and those guys are gonna sit for about 15 minutes and absorb a little bit of that salt, and then we're gonna hit the grill. All right, for this recipe, we're gonna fire the Traeger up to 450. All right, so our country ribs have been salted for about 15 minutes. They've absorbed that seasoning and sweated out a little bit of that moisture. They're totally ready for the grill. I'm just gonna put them directly onto the grill grate. We're gonna let those sit there for about 15 to 20 minutes and we're gonna come back and flip them about halfway through. So we got our ribs on the grill. We're gonna go ahead and get our onions caramelized up and get our braising liquid started. So first things first, just gonna julienne a really nice half onion here. Just gonna take the ends off, get rid of those guys. Then I'm gonna do a nice fine julienne so the onions have a really nice even area to cook in the pan. So I like to just go through real quick and kind of at an angle here, start and work my way around the top of the onion. Turn it over and continue along that line there. And just get some nice julienne onions for the pan. We're gonna add our butter, get that going. And we're just gonna toss those in the pan with the butter. Now we're gonna add a little aromatics. We're gonna add a couple sprigs of thyme. You can throw the whole thing in there, no big deal. We're gonna pull those out later anyways. The stem actually adds a little bit of flavor. A couple bay leaves. We're gonna get those going. It's gonna become nice and fragrant, and we're gonna get a little caramelization going and get these ready for our ribs. All right, so our ribs have been on for about 7 to 10 minutes. We're just gonna take a look at them, give them a flip, make sure they're evenly seared on both sides. Got some nice color on there. Give that about another 7 to 10 minutes. All right, so our ribs have been searing for about 20 minutes. We've got some really nice color, a little bit of smoke characteristic. We're gonna take them off the grill. We're gonna incorporate them with our onions and braising liquid. But first we're gonna turn the temp down to 325. So I got our ribs off the grill. We're gonna add them to our onions. They're super aromatic right now, and we're gonna deglaze a little bit. So just right into the pan with our smoky seared pork ribs, right there. Then we're gonna deglaze with just a little bit of chicken stock. Pull that fond off the bottom of the pan there. We're gonna do just a dash of some really nice sherry vinegar. Add a little bit of acidity. And then of course some nice local honey right on top of these ribs. That's gonna help add a little bit of caramelization to the rib itself once we get it back on the grill here. So we got our caramelized onions and our pork ribs. It's looking really nice. Smells amazing in here. The liquid's reduced just a little bit, but it's gonna reduce more on the grill as we braise. But we're all set. We're gonna go hit the Traeger. All right, so our country ribs are ready to go back on the Traeger. We're gonna braise these bad boys for about 2.5 hours. until the liquid's reduced about half and these things are fork tender and falling off the bone. So our ribs are braising on the Traeger right now. Next step is we're gonna get our apple and our potato seared up, add a little bit of kale to that. So we're gonna go ahead and just start right away with a nice hot pan, add the rest of our butter. In the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and just cube up my apple and my potato. Nice big chunks, you wanna have it pretty hearty. So, doesn't need to be perfect. And you can peel your apple or your potato if you like. I like to have a little bit of extra bite to it, so I'm gonna leave it on there. We're gonna get those in the pan. Same with our potato. Super simple, right into the pan. Let that butter do its job, kind of coat everything up here. We're just looking for a little caramelization and a little bit of color. And then we'll go ahead and add our kale. We're just gonna cut our kale into ribbons here. So some really nice fresh kale. You can use purple kale, dinosaur kale, green kale, whatever you'd like. But I just simply bunch it up and cut nice thin ribbons. You can remove the stem if you'd like, but again, I kind of like that bite to this dish. So I'm just gonna leave it whole. All right, while our apples and potatoes are browning, I'm gonna go grab those ribs off the Traeger. We're gonna pull everything together. All right, so our pork ribs have been on for about 2.5 hours. We're gonna check them out. All right, those look awesome. We got some nice color characteristics, smoke. That liquid's really reduced by about half and it smells amazing. We're gonna go pull this whole dish together. All right, these ribs look amazing. The aromatics coming off this pan are excellent. I'm gonna go ahead and just pull some of these bay leaves and thyme leaves out of here. We're gonna pull the ribs right out, leaving us with those nice caramelized onions, a little bit of that braising liquid. We're gonna incorporate all this together in just 1 second. All right. Tons of flavor in this pan from those braised ribs, caramelized onions, a little bit of that vinegar. We're just gonna add all this together to our apples and potatoes. Awesome. Oh, it just smells amazing, you guys. Gonna add our kale, get that braised down a little bit. And this kale's gonna cook down just a little bit as well and release a little bit of moisture. And then I like a little bit of kick, so I'm gonna add a little bit of chili flake. That's totally up to you. We're just gonna toss this a little bit. Coat that kale in that braising liquid. Oh, it smells so good. All right, so our kale's nice and cooked down a little bit here. We're gonna add our ribs right back into this lovely pan here. Oh man, what a great dish for the family. We have some really nice crostini, or you could use a little stale bread. But just add this a little to the dish here. Helps absorb a little bit of that liquid, gives a little bit of texture as well. So this dish is all set to go. You could serve it up family style right out of the skillet here, super simple, or go ahead and plate it up. I'm pretty hungry, so I'm gonna make myself a dish here. A little bit of kale and apple, some of that braising liquid as well. Got those crostinis in there for texture. And that's just a really simple, beautiful dish. Seasonality is perfect. And I can't wait to dig into this thing. Got that smoke characteristic from the pork being on that Traeger, super nicer and tender, got a little bit of smoked ring as well, and it just comes together really nice. Oh yeah. Flavors are super good. You get a little bit of kick from that chili flake, a little acidity, some sweetness from that apple, and of course that Traeger smoked pork rib. Killer dish. For this and many more amazing recipes, visit traeger.com/recipes or download the app.